Yo, what up? How you doing? My name is David the Crook, and today I'm going to show you 4 super fire free plugins you could add onto your beats, your loops, your drums, anything just to give it that vintage texture, give it that vintage feel onto your beats, just to dirty it up. That way it just doesn't sound so clean and just too neat. It adds that noise and it adds that texture onto your loops or your drums just to give it that vintage feel. But before we get into the video, I want to remind you to subscribe and drop a like. I have a beat here I was working on. It's not complete. I don't have anything on it except for the 4 plugins that I'm going to show you. I'm going to play the beat and then we'll get into it. That's part of the beat right there. Now, if you're looking for beats, I'll link my website down below. You can check out my beats. When it comes down to mixing beats, one thing you want to keep in mind is the plugins you're using when it comes down to mixing the actual beat is going to determine how the beat is really going to come out. So a lot of times if you're using, for example, if I was to EQ the loop just using this regular channel EQ within Stock Logic Pro X, this is not going to add any color. It's not going to add any texture to the beat. Depending on what you're going for is depending on the type of EQ you're going to use. 4 plugins I'm going to be showing you are free, and I'll link them down below in the description. The plugins I'm going to show you are just going to add that vintage feel, that vintage texture onto the beat, whether it's the loop or the drums, and it's just going to give it some grittiness. It's going to give it some punch. It's going to add some noise to it. It's going to add the color depending on what the plugin is modeling. The first one I'm going to be using is from Native Instruments. It is called Tape Mate. This thing is so dope. All I have it on is the loop. So if I were to solo the loop here, you have these knobs here and you could either change the tone, you can squish it, you could add some dirt to it, you cut out some of the highs, cut out some of the lows. I like adding this onto my loops, especially for example like this loop. If I were to play it by itself, you could hear like a bass line underneath it, and I kind of want to take that out because I'm gonna add my own bass line. So you could really just play with this, and then you could add some noise. There's so much you could do within it. Now the last 3 plugins I'm going to be showing you are from this company here. I don't even want to say the name because I know I can't say the name. They're all compressors. Each compressor is modeled after a different actual hardware. Depending on what you're going for is what you're going to add when you're mixing your beats. So for example, I have this one here is MJUC Junior. This is a tube compressor, so I'm going to add this onto my drums, and that's what I have on my drums. And for here, all I have it is on slow time response, compressed it, and then I have a little bit of makeup gain. This is how the drum sounds without the compressor, and then this is how it sounds with this compressor on. And then the second one I have on is the IVG i2, and what this is going to do is this is a cool compressor because you could add how much drive you want, and then you could add the mix, you could add the response. So for example, if I want more of that high end, I could just move it to the high frequency. Because I have it on the drum bus, I just want to keep it on neutral. But if you add it to a loop, for example, you might want some more of the low frequencies, you might want some of the highs. I just keep it on neutral for now. And then this last one is also a compressor, and this one's cool because you could either choose if you want to go deep, you want to relax, dual mono, or negative. Each one of these things is going to give it its own like color, its own flavor onto the drums or to the loops. These 4 compressors are super dope because you could really get creative on what you want to do and specifically choose where you want to add it onto. For example, this one goes hard on drums, this one goes hard on loops, this one goes hard on drums and pianos, and then this last one here goes hard on guitars. I'll be linking them down below in the description so you can check them out. Now I want to remind you to subscribe and drop a like. Now if you want to see me mix and master live on Instagram, feel free to hit me up